we've come to the end of Gadhi's hallucination. While he was performing his rituals in the river, he experienced himself dying, being reborn again, living a whole life, and quite a long life with family, children, friends who all died. Then he became a king for 8 years. Then in unpleasant circumstances he killed himself. And this was 12 years previously, and now he's gone to visit the places which he saw in the hallucination, and it turns out they actually happened. So he's asking Lord Vishnu about this, and the Lord said, "O Gadhi, that which you see now is an illusion. It is truly not but the self, but perceived by the mind which has not been purified and which has not realized the truth. There is nothing outside the self. Just as the tree is in the seed, all this is already in the mind, and the mind sees it as if it is outside." And this is the point. We say we see things. I say I see that camera over there. I see that guitar over there. But it's not over there. It's here. It's in my mind. But we subscribe to the convention that it's not in my mind, it's a physical object out there. If it's out there, how can I be seeing it here? We've got various stories of perception to explain this. As I've pointed out before, the story of perception has got some major cracks in it. So there are things that you experience inside, like thoughts and dreams, which we're quite happy to say that they're inner experiences of our mind. But all the other experiences we say are happening out there. And we've got a problem with understanding that they're actually happening in our mind as well. It's like sound. Sound is happening in my mind. I might hear the sound of a seagull, and I'll say it's a seagull and it's out there. But that's only the interpretation, that's the story which I put on the experience of this sound, which has to be happening here. Otherwise I wouldn't be hearing it. So there's that experience of the sound, and then we concoct the story of it being caused by an external object setting in motion sound waves which eventually reach my ear. And that's the conventional story which we subscribe to for the purposes of communication, but it's not what's actually happening. All that's happening is the experiencing of what's described as the seagull sound. It is the mind alone that perceives all this now, visualizes all this as if in the future, and remembers all this as if in the past. It is the mind alone that has experienced as dream, illusion, illness, etc. In the mind are countless events like flowers on a tree in full bloom. And just as an uprooted tree bears no flowers, the mind freed of percepts and concepts is freed from rebirth, etc. Is it any wonder that the mind, which contains countless thought forms, should be able to manifest the idea, "I am a tribesman"? Even so, the same mind manifests other ideas like, "I have a Brahmana guest who told me the story, etc. And I am going to Bhuta Mandalam, and I am in Kira kingdom now. All this was but hallucination. Thus, O Holy One, you have seen both forms of illusion, the one which you yourself thought was illusion, and the other which you think is reality, both of which are hallucination in truth. You entertained no guest, and you did not go anywhere. All this too was but hallucination. You have not really been to Bhuta Mandalam, or the Kira kingdom. All these were also illusions. Arise, O sage, engage yourself in whatever action is appropriate here, for without such activity one does not attain what is worthy in this life." Vasishta continued. In order to reassure himself, Gadhi once again went over to Bhuta Mandalam, etc. Once again he heard the same stories from the people over there. Once again he adored the Lord Vishnu, who once again appeared before him. Gadhi asked the Lord, "Lord, I roamed for 6 months in the 2 realms and heard the same stories which the people there narrate as true. Pray clear this confusion." The Lord said, O Gadhi, these incidents are reflected in your mind, though they took place unrelated to you, even as there appears to be a coincidental connection between the crow alighting upon a coconut tree and a coconut falling to the ground. Hence they narrate the same story which you believe to be yours. Such coincidence is not uncommon. Sometimes the same illusion is perceived by many. Sometimes many people have the same dream, several people experience the same hallucination, and many drunkards may all of them simultaneously experience that the world is revolving around them. Several children play at the same game. It's called culture. We subscribe to common sets of beliefs and notions. Such confusion may arise in the minds of people in regard to time too. Time is a concept of the mind. Time is related to certain phenomena in a mutual causal relationship. Time is one of the rules of the game. Lord Vishnu disappeared, and Gadhi, contemplating for a long time, once again he prayed, and the Lord appeared before him. Gadhi prayed to him, "Lord, I am utterly confused by your Maya. Pray remove this confusion by appropriate means." And the Lord said, "Whatever you saw in the Bhuta, Mandalam and Kira were possibly true. The tribesman known as Catanya was indeed born some time ago. He lost his kinsman and became king of Kira. All this was reflected in your consciousness. Even as the mind sometimes forgets what it actually experienced, it also thinks it has experienced what it has never seen." I think we call this false memories nowadays. Just as one sees dreams and visions, one experiences hallucinations even during the waking state. Though Catanya lived several years ago, it appeared to be in the present in your consciousness. This I am. Such a concept does not arise in the person who has self-knowledge, but only in the mind of an ignorant person. I am the All. Knowing thus, the knower of truth does not drown in sorrow. He does not grasp finite objects productive of sorrow. Hence he is not swayed by joy and sorrow. Because you are not fully enlightened, your mind clings to the illusion of objective perception of concepts. It is the objective perceptions, the perception of objects. The Maya is spread out in all directions. He who remains established in the center is free from delusion. Get up and meditate intensely for 10 years. Gadhi engaged himself in intense meditation thereafter and attained self-realization. After that, he lived as a liberated sage, free from fear and sorrow.